First contact and betrayal. The quantum array at Luna Base hummed with unprecedented energy as Dr. Elena Santos stared at her holographic display in disbelief. The signal patterns dancing across her screen defied every known natural phenomenon. After 15 years of scanning the cosmos for signs of intelligent life, humanity had finally received an answer. Director Chen needs to see this immediately, Elena whispered to herself, her fingers already composing the urgent message. Within hours, the discovery shook the scientific community to its core. The signal wasn't just proof of alien intelligence. It was an invitation. The message, once decoded, revealed itself to be a greeting from a species calling themselves the Kordathi, claiming to represent a galactic coalition of advanced civilizations. They offered humanity membership, technology, and protection. It seemed too good to be true. Commander James Harrison of the UES Pathfinder stood on his bridge 6 months later, watching as the massive Kordathi vessel emerged from what they called fold space. The ship was beautiful, all sweeping curves and iridescent surfaces that seemed to defy physics itself. This was humanity's first physical contact with an alien species, and the entire crew felt the weight of history on their shoulders. Kordathi vessel, this is Commander Harrison of the UES Pathfinder. We welcome you to Sol System, Harrison transmitted, following the carefully crafted diplomatic protocols. The response came instantly, but something felt off. The Kordathi ship's energy signature suddenly changed, and before Harrison could react, space itself seemed to tear open around them. Dozens of warships emerged, their weapons already charging. All hands to battle stations. Harrison's command came just as the first attack struck. The Pathfinder's advanced shields, humanity's pride and joy, collapsed under weapons that seemed to ignore physical laws entirely. They're targeting our colony ships first, Tactical Officer Maya Rodriguez reported, her voice steady despite the chaos. The civilian vessels, carrying thousands of would-be colonists to witness the historic moment, were completely defenseless. Harrison's mind raced. The Pathfinder was humanity's most advanced warship, but they were hopelessly outgunned. Yet something strange caught his attention. The enemy ships were maintaining a peculiar distance, avoiding close engagement, despite their overwhelming advantage. All power to engines, Harrison ordered. Take us straight at their flagship. His crew looked at him in shock, but they trusted their commander. The Pathfinder's engines roared to life, pushing the ship to accelerations that would have killed most organic beings. But humans were different. Their bodies, evolved under Earth's punishing gravity and harsh conditions, could withstand forces that would reduce most species to paste. The enemy flagship tried to dodge, but Harrison had guessed correctly. They couldn't match the Pathfinder's extreme maneuvers. The impact never came, though. Instead, the Kordathi vessel simply vanished, along with its entire fleet, leaving behind only the wreckage of human ships and thousands of dead. Back on Earth, the response was swift and unified. Humanity had been deceived, tested, and grievously wounded, but they had also learned something crucial. Their primitive biology, shaped by Earth's brutal conditions, gave them capabilities their advanced enemies never expected. Admiral Sarah Chen, now heading Earth's Unified Defense Command, stood before the Emergency Council. The Kordathi thought we would be easy prey, she declared, her voice carrying across the silent chamber. They judged us by our technology, not understanding that evolution on a death world like Earth created something far more formidable than advanced weapons. Today, we begin Project Deathworld, a complete redesign of our military doctrine around the very traits they underestimated. As humanity's surviving ships limped home, carrying tales of betrayal and the first hints of their unexpected advantage, a new phase of human history began. The children of Earth would no longer seek peaceful contact. Instead, they would prepare to show the galaxy why species from death worlds were to be feared, not pitied. In orbiting shipyards across the solar system, a new fleet took shape, vessels designed to capitalize on humanity's unique capabilities. The Cordathi and their allies would return, thinking they had measured humanity's strength. They would learn, too late, that they had only seen a fraction of what Earth's children could do when pushed to war. The trap had been sprung, but the trappers would soon discover they had awakened something far more dangerous than they imagined. A species that evolved in hell itself, now driven by righteous fury and the need for vengeance. The Awakening. Dr. Kira Patel stood in the high-gravity chamber of the Mars Military Research Facility, watching as Marine volunteers performed combat maneuvers under crushing pressure. At 15 times Earth's normal gravity, most alien species would be reduced to puddles. The Marines moved with practiced efficiency, their enhanced muscles and reinforced bones, products of both evolution and careful genetic optimization, allowing them to function where others would fail. "Incredible," remarked General Michael Jong, his weathered face illuminated by the chamber's harsh lighting. The Cordathi's attack was devastating, but it revealed something they never intended: their own limitations. Kira nodded, pulling up holographic data streams showing comparative biological analyses. Their entire civilization evolved in low-gravity environments. Even their most advanced technology can't compensate for the fundamental weakness in their physical structure. But that's not all we've discovered. The central display showed footage from the Pathfinder's encounter. Frame-by-frame analysis revealed subtle distortions around the Cordathi ships during their high-speed maneuvers, signs of structural stress that shouldn't exist in vessels of their apparent technological level. They're compensating for biological limitations with technological solutions, Kira explained. Their ships aren't designed to handle the kinds of acceleration our bodies can withstand because they never needed to evolve that capability. Earth's gravity well isn't just our cradle, it's our greatest advantage. Project Deathworld transformed humanity's military doctrine overnight. New ship designs emphasized extreme acceleration capabilities and close combat tactics. Training protocols pushed human crews to their biological limits and beyond. The shipyards orbiting Earth and Mars worked tirelessly, producing vessels that would have been death traps for any other species. The UES Nemesis became the first of these new breed vessels. Unlike the sleek, aesthetically pleasing ships of the Cordathi, the Nemesis was built for pure functionality. Its internal architecture could withstand forces that would tear conventional ships apart, and its crew quarters were permanently set to 3 times Earth gravity to maintain combat readiness. Commander Elena Rivera, chosen to lead the Nemesis, embodied humanity's new military philosophy. Born in the high-gravity colonies of Jupiter's moons, her body was naturally adapted to conditions that would kill most humans, let alone aliens. As she walked the corridors of her new command, the ship's AI reported readiness statistics that would have been impossible just months ago. "All systems optimized for maximum gravitational warfare," the AI announced. Crew performance exceeding expected parameters by 23%. Elena smiled grimly. The ship had been designed around a simple principle: turn humanity's primitive planetary evolution into a weapon. Every system, from the engines to the weapon platforms, was built to operate under forces that would destroy conventional technology. In the depths of the ship's training deck, Marines practiced combat maneuvers in varying gravity fields. Their powered armor, unlike anything in known space, was designed to amplify rather than compensate for Earth normal gravity. The soldiers moved with devastating speed and power, their bodies conditioned by generations of evolution under Earth's punishing conditions. Deep space sensors had already detected Cordathi scout ships prodding the edges of human space. They were watching, studying, probably preparing for what they thought would be a simple cleanup operation. They had no idea that humanity was about to revolutionize space warfare. Admiral Chen's voice echoed through the fleet's command channel. "The enemy believes they've seen humanity at our weakest. They're wrong. They've never seen us at our strongest. What they view as our primitive origins, our evolution on a high-gravity death world, will become their nightmare." As the new fleet assembled in high orbit, humanity's scientists made another crucial discovery. Analysis of captured Cordethi technology revealed their dependence on exotic particles that behaved erratically under intense gravitational fields. Their seemingly insurmountable technological advantage had a fatal flaw, one that stemmed directly from their evolution in the gentler cradles of space. The stage was set for humanity's response. The children of Earth were no longer reaching for the stars with open hands of friendship. They were rising from their gravity well like warriors emerging from a training ground, their bodies and minds forged in conditions that their enemies could barely comprehend. The Cordethi would return, expecting to find a wounded primitive species struggling with their first taste of interstellar warfare. Instead, they would face something unprecedented, a Deathworld species that had turned their very limitations into weapons of war. The awakening of humanity's true potential had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The counterstrike. The UES Nemesis hung in the darkness of deep space, its gravitational sensors probing the void for signs of the enemy. Commander Elena Rivera stood at the tactical station, her body naturally compensating for the ship's high-G battle readiness state. The bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency, their movements precise despite the crushing artificial gravity. "Contact," announced Lieutenant Kai Chen, his fingers dancing across the sensor array. Multiple fold space signatures at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system. Energy patterns match Cordethi vessels. Elena's eyes narrowed. For 3 months, they had been waiting for this moment. The new fleet was positioned perfectly, a trap laid by those the Cordethi considered primitive prey. "Battle stations," she ordered. "Execute Operation Gravity Well." Across the system, 20 human vessels activated their experimental gravity drives simultaneously. The fabric of space itself began to warp and twist as overlapping gravitational fields created a massive artificial gravity well. The Cordethi ships, emerging from fold space, found themselves caught in forces their hulls were never designed to withstand. Enemy vessels showing structural stress, Kai reported, a hint of satisfaction in his voice. Their exotic particle drives are destabilizing under the gravitational shear. Elena opened a fleet-wide channel. "All ships, execute attack pattern Delta. Remember your training. They can't match our acceleration or survive our gravity. Use it against them." The human fleet moved with devastating coordination. Ships capable of maintaining stability under forces that would tear conventional vessels apart performed maneuvers that defied the enemy's tactical computers. The Cordethi's advanced targeting systems, calibrated for combat in normal space, struggled to track vessels accelerating under forces their calculations deemed impossible. The Nemesis led the charge, its reinforced hull gleaming under the light of Proxima Centauri. Elena felt the ship's compensators strain as they pushed to 25 Gs, a speed that would have liquefied any Cordethi crew instantly. "Bring us in close," she commanded. "Let's show them what close-quarters combat really means." The battle that followed would rewrite military doctrine across known space. Human vessels, designed to operate under crushing gravitational forces, executed combat maneuvers that seemed to defy physics itself. Their weapons, calibrated to function under extreme conditions, tore through enemy shields calibrated for conventional warfare. But it was the boarding actions that truly demonstrated humanity's advantage. Marines in powered armor, their bodies conditioned by generations of evolution under Earth's punishing gravity, reached Cordethi vessels with brutal efficiency. The enemy, adapted to low-gravity environments, found themselves physically overwhelmed by warriors who could fight at full capacity under forces that left them helpless. Multiple enemy vessels attempting emergency fold space transitions, Kai reported. Their formation is breaking apart. Elena allowed herself a grim smile. Not this time. Activate the gravity anchors. The experimental technology, derived from studying captured Cordethi tech, created localized gravity distortions that prevented stable fold space corridors from forming. The enemy's greatest advantage, their ability to appear and disappear at will, had been turned against them. Admiral Chen's voice crackled over the command channel. "All ships, press the advantage. The Cordathi thought they could treat Earth as just another conquest. Show them the price of underestimating a Deathworld species. As the battle reached its climax, the true extent of humanity's preparation became clear. Every aspect of their new combat doctrine leveraged their evolutionary advantages. Ships performed slingshot maneuvers around gravity wells that would have torn other vessels apart. Marines conducted boarding actions under forces that crushed enemy crews in their own command chairs. The surviving Cordathi vessels retreated in disarray, leaving behind a debris field that would serve as a testament to humanity's first major victory. But Alina and her crew knew this was just the beginning. The enemy would adapt, learn, and return with new tactics. Yet they would never be able to overcome their fundamental limitation. Their evolution in the gentler cradles of space had left them physically incapable of matching humanity's capabilities. As the fleet regrouped and began salvage operations, Alina received a priority transmission from Earth Command. The data recovered from captured Cordathi ships had revealed something unprecedented: the existence of other Deathworld species, long suppressed by the dominant galactic powers. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival anymore. They were about to become the spark that would ignite a revolution across the stars. The hidden strength. The diplomatic chamber aboard the UES Nemesis had been specially modified for this historic meeting. Multiple gravity fields operated simultaneously, accommodating the diverse biological needs of its occupants. Commander Elena Rivera stood alongside Admiral Chen, watching as their first potential allies arrived. The Krex representative entered first, their crystalline exoskeleton glinting under the chamber's lights. Evolved on a world with twice Earth's gravity and constant tectonic activity, they moved with a fluid grace that belied their mineral-based biology. Behind them came the Vash, humanoid beings adapted to life on a planet bathed in lethal radiation levels. Their iridescent skin could absorb energy that would kill most organic life. "Welcome to the first gathering of free Deathworld species," Admiral Chen announced, her voice translated simultaneously into subsonic vibrations for the Krex and radiation pulses for the Vash. For too long, the Cordathi Confederation has suppressed worlds like ours, fearing what we might become. The Krex elder, who introduced herself as Crystal Song in Gravity, spoke through the translator. "When your fleet shattered their hold over the Proxima sector, you did more than win a battle. You showed us that resistance was possible, that our evolutionary heritage was not a curse, but a strength." Data streams filled the chamber's holographic displays, showing the combined intelligence gathered from a dozen Deathworld civilizations. Each species had evolved under conditions that the Cordathi considered impossibly hostile. Each had been systematically isolated, prevented from reaching their full potential. Dr. Kira Patel, now heading the Combined Species Research Initiative, presented their findings. The Cordathi Confederation's entire power structure is built on maintaining their technological superiority. But they've created a critical weakness in their empire. They gathered all their natural predators in one place. The Vash representative, Second Sunwalker, emanated patterns of agreement. Their species had discovered that their radiation-absorbing abilities could disrupt Cordathi energy weapons. The Krex's crystalline technology, designed to function under enormous pressure, was naturally resistant to gravitational attacks. "United, we represent everything they fear," Alina observed. "Not just our individual capabilities, but the potential of Deathworld species working together." The alliance took shape rapidly. Each species contributed their unique evolutionary advantages to a combined military doctrine that would revolutionize warfare. The Krex's living crystal ships could withstand even greater gravitational forces than human vessels. The Vash's energy manipulation technologies enhance human weapons beyond anything the Cordathi could predict. In orbital shipyards across 3 star systems, a new fleet emerged. Vessels that combined human gravitational warfare tactics with Krex crystal tech armor and Vash energy systems. Marines trained in mixed-species combat teams, each member's natural abilities complementing the others. But the Alliance's greatest advantage was psychological. The Kordathi had spent millennia maintaining their dominance through careful control of technological development. They had never considered that by gathering all their potentially dangerous subjects in one sector, they had created the perfect conditions for revolution. Intelligence reports indicated growing unrest throughout Kordathi space. Other suppressed species, hearing of the Deathworld alliance, began their own rebellions. The Confederation's resources were stretched thin trying to maintain control of their vast empire. They're mobilizing their main battle fleet, Kai reported during a strategic briefing. Our long-range sensors detect over 300 capital ships gathering in the Arcturus sector. Admiral Chen's expression remained calm. Let them come. They still think this is about technology, about matching their advanced weapons. They haven't understood that we're not trying to match their advancement level. We're changing the fundamental nature of space warfare. The combined fleet of humans, Krex and Vash, took position around a massive gas giant in the Proxima system. The intense gravitational field and radiation bands created conditions that would have been fatal to most species. For the Deathworld Alliance, it was the perfect battlefield. As the massive Kordathi armada approached, Alina felt a sense of profound rightness. Humanity had entered the galactic stage seeking peaceful contact, only to discover a civilization that feared and suppressed any species they couldn't control. Now, they would lead an alliance of evolution's greatest survivors in a battle that would reshape the galaxy. The Kordathi were about to learn that their greatest mistake wasn't just underestimating humanity. It was failing to understand that true strength comes not from technological superiority, but from the harsh crucible of evolution itself. The Reckoning. The gas giant Proxima Beta loomed massive in the view screen, its turbulent atmosphere crackling with energy storms that would have torn conventional ships apart. The combined fleet of the Deathworld Alliance held position within its upper atmosphere, their ships riding gravitational currents that would have crushed any Kordathi vessel. Commander Elena Rivera stood at the Nemesis's tactical station, watching as the massive Kordathi armada emerged from Fold space. Their ships, beautiful and deadly, filled the void with their presence. 300 capital ships, the pride of their civilization, arrayed in perfect formation. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, Lieutenant Kai announced. They're demanding our immediate surrender. Admiral Chen's hologram appeared on the bridge, her expression resolute. All ships, execute Operation Thunderstorm. Show them what Deathworlders can really do. The battle began not with an exchange of fire, but with a fundamental change in the battlefield itself. Hundreds of gravity generators activated simultaneously, creating a cascading web of overlapping fields. The Krex crystal ships channeled the gas giant's natural forces, while Vash energy manipulators converted radiation into deadly weapons. The Kordathi fleet's perfect formation shattered as their ships struggled against forces they were never designed to withstand. Their advanced targeting systems, calibrated for normal space combat, failed completely in the gravitational maelstrom. Multiple enemy vessels experiencing critical structural failures, Kai reported. Their exotic particle drives are destabilizing under the gravitational shear. Helena opened a channel to all Alliance ships. Begin Phase 2. Attack Pattern Omega. The Deathworld fleet moved as one, each species contributing their unique capabilities to a strategy that defied conventional warfare. Human ships executed high-G maneuvers that turned their velocity into weapons. Krex vessels phased through enemy fire, their crystalline structures redirecting energy back at the attackers. Vash ships absorbed enemy weapon fire and channeled it into devastating counterattacks. The Kordathi responded with desperate fury, unleashing weapons that could shatter planets. But in the gravitational storm, their most powerful attacks were twisted and dispersed. The very forces they had feared and suppressed for millennia had become instruments of their downfall. Enemy flagship detected, Kai called out. They're attempting to coordinate a breakthrough. Elena smiled grimly. Perfect. All ships, converge on my position. Time to end this. The Nemesis led a spearhead of Alliance vessels straight at the Kordathi command ship. Enemy fire intensified, but the combined defenses of 3 Deathworld species proved impenetrable. Human gravitational warfare, Krek's crystal technology, and Vash energy manipulation created an unstoppable force. The Kordathi flagship, a massive vessel that dwarfed even the largest Alliance ships, tried to retreat into fold space. But the gravity web had trapped them in normal space, forcing them to fight on the Alliance's terms. Boarding teams ready, the Marine commander reported. Mixed teams of humans, Kreks and Vash, stood prepared in their launch bays. Permission to demonstrate close combat to our friends. Granted, Elena replied. Show them why they should have never feared evolution's children. The boarding action that followed would be remembered for centuries. Deathworld warriors, each adapted to conditions that would kill most species, tore through the Kordathi defenses like they were made of paper. Human Marines moved with devastating speed under crushing gravity. Krek's warriors phased through walls and turned their crystalline bodies into living weapons. Vash commandos absorbed enemy energy weapons and redirected the power back at them. The Kordathi Supreme Commander, faced with the unstoppable advance of forces his civilization had dismissed as primitive, finally understood their fatal error. They had built their empire on suppressing the very force that drove the universe forward, evolution itself. As the Alliance forces secured the flagship, Admiral Chen's voice echoed through every ship and station in the sector. To all Kordathi forces, your fleet is destroyed. Your leadership is captured. The age of suppression is over. The Deathworlds are free. The remaining Kordathi ships, seeing their flagship fall and their leaders captured, began surrendering. The battle had lasted less than 3 hours, but it had changed the galaxy forever. In the aftermath, as the Alliance fleet regrouped and began securing their victory, Elena stood in the Nemesis's observation deck, watching the gas giants' storms rage. They had won not through superior technology or overwhelming numbers, but by embracing the very traits the Kordathi had feared, their ability to survive and thrive in conditions that most species considered impossible. The galaxy would never be the same. The Deathworld Alliance had proven that true strength comes not from controlling evolution, but from embracing it. As news of their victory spread, more suppressed species rose up, claiming their right to develop according to their own nature. Humanity, in seeking peaceful contact with the stars, had instead become the catalyst for a revolution. They had shown the galaxy that sometimes the most powerful force isn't the most advanced technology, but the simple, unrelenting strength that comes from evolving in the universe's harshest cradles. The age of suppression was over. The age of evolution had begun.